Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Trap on the Boomer Bust channel, a Bears podcast by a Bears fan. I'm your host, Terry, and today I'm talking about the case for drafting Denzel Ward. Alright, so as far as the landscape, if we draft Denzel Ward at number 8, I think it's pretty clear. The only people we have on the roster right now for the cornerback position is Cre'Von LeBlanc, and we have Bryce Callahan, who is restricted right now. And then we got Marcus Cooper. So we got 3 corners. Of course, you want to carry about 5 to 6 at least. But we got our main two starters as free agency, with Prince being a 1-year player. And then, of course, you got the Kyle Fuller situation that everybody's interested in. So with that being said, though, Marcus Cooper is most likely to be cut. Now, I believe the Bears are waiting kind of with the roster bonus and playing around like when to do it, but they're going to cut Marcus Cooper, who they felt was disappointing after the first few games, ended up losing his starting spot once Prince came back and they left Kyle Fuller on the field. I mean, Marcus Cooper made a lot of bonehead moves, and he definitely is super stiff and limited at speed. But I thought he played man coverage pretty well, honestly. I thought he had a pretty good ability to stay underneath people's routes and run them with them. But as far as zone and, just the mental part, definitely he had issues with. So I understand Cooper's going to get cut. So then you got LeBlanc, who is really just kind of a serviceable guy for emergency. And then hopefully Bryce will get a new deal, but he's our main premier slot corner. So that's kind of what we're looking at. The cupboard is pretty bare. So if you're talking about bringing in, and I didn't mean bare like, but anyway, if you're talking about bringing in Denzel Ward, he steps in as one of the immediate starters outside, because right now, and again, we don't have that. The franchise tag might be possible for Kyle Fuller. We don't know yet. So, but even if you counted him coming back again, Bryce can play corner, but definitely we want him in the slot. That's his more valuable spot, and, or the nickel, whatever you want to call it. And so Denzel will help bring in another outside corner that can go play that spot. So, definitely we will still have to get more bodies out there, but I think you feel a little bit better bringing in Denzel with a little more leverage, so then you could kind of work on Fuller and Bryce Callahan getting the deal. So that would be the outlook of it. But the cases for Denzel and the cases against. So when we're talking about the case for Denzel, as we just said, we don't have no corners. We need the bodies. We definitely need the bodies, not just top tier talent, which of course you want, but we need bodies at that position because, again, I said it before, we're not going to go into the season without enough corners to play a game, but right now it's empty, so you can always add to it. But more than that, I think that gives you more, leverage when you're talking about Kyle Fuller. Now, some people think he needs to come back. Some people don't. I already have a episode on that if you want to check that out and have that conversation. But the point being, having Denzel Ward, now I don't think, it'll last to that long, but having Denzel Ward kind of helps you. So if Kyle Fuller comes back, more than likely it'll be on a franchise tag, I would guess. And so by that time, when we draft Ward, that gives us a little more cushion in case Fuller not walks, but we don't want to bring him back after this year. Maybe we feel like his play wasn't as good, or maybe we feel like his play just doesn't fit what we want to do going forward. And so we let him walk after this year. That gives us, it makes it a little easier to do that when you bring in a young rookie like Denzel. And then, of course, you'll have them both for the year, but it just helps a little bit to have somebody else that you feel confident in as your top guy. Or if, assuming that Denzel becomes a top guy during the season. And then the other case that people will tell you for Denzel is he's supremely athletic. That's something that everyone pretty much knew. If you're into the combine numbers, he ran a 4.32. So super fast. I didn't get to see the rest of the numbers posted yet. But I expect him to have some high numbers. Outside of 40, I expect him to be explosive and everything that I saw on tape. And so when you're talking about the Bears kind of getting younger overall, even though the defense did well, moving to a younger group, a more athletic group, faster group, he definitely fits in that mold. And he's going to give you some athleticism and explosion to go out and make some of those plays that we probably haven't seen before. And so that'd be one of the things that's very attractive to a Bears fan. And then I would say one other thing that gives you a case for Denzel is the fact that with his speed and his experience, he can play nickel corner. So if we get into a spot, or if we go forward and maybe we don't have Bryce Callahan, then you're talking about a guy that can play nickel when we need him to. If you got a competent corner to put outside, maybe third and long, and you got a guy in the nickel that's great, you can, or in the slot that's great, you would put Denzel on him. So he does give you some position flexibility with that as well. Now for the cases against picking Denzel Ward. I don't think anybody would argue the position. People know we need that position. The position is a very valuable position in this league. And there's, number 8's a spot where you could take him. But I think some people might tell you he's not the best corner in this draft. Now, I already did my video episode kind of breaking down Denzel and Josh Jackson, and I'll be breaking down the rest of the corners to come, because I think there's some really good serviceable corners actually outside of those two. But when you're talking about the top tier, myself and other people do feel Josh Jackson is better suited as the top corner because of his ability to make a play on the ball. Now, he ran a 4.5, and I guessed him to be around a level 4 speed. And so some people might not think his athleticism is up to par and they want to see somebody more explosive. However, I will tell you that in my opinion, Josh Jackson just has better technique and skills. And you can listen to that video for more of a breakdown, but I think Denzel got a lot of growing in that area. And then, another thing that people might have against Denzel is that he has a lack of size. So I don't remember what he weighed in at or measured at, but he definitely was listed at 5'10" at Ohio State. So somewhere around that, he's not the biggest guy. And so some people might feel that even with that speed and explosion going up against the bigger body receivers that we see these days, he's going to struggle. And that, that could be the case, might not be the case, but some people might be a little hesitant to take a guy that has a lack of length at the corner position rather than taking somebody who's a little longer, like a Josh Jackson, or even waiting down the rounds to get a person like a Carlton Davis or someone of that nature. And so that size difference might scare a few people, but that's kind of up for question. Again, these are just the questions we ask. And then one more thing on the positive side, which I forgot to mention, is Denzel plays the run. He wants to play the run, and he does it well. And there's some, again, you could listen to my other video to talk about specifics, but I can tell you that for a corner, he's physical, and he will play the run. And in the Bears scheme, every scheme, but definitely in the Bears scheme, when we do a lot of cover 2 and 2-man or whatever, it's important to have corners that tackle. We saw Kyle Fuller, even though, I've always watched Kyle Fuller in college before he even came out. The man could tackle. For whatever reason, he didn't do it when he was with us until now, but we saw Kyle Fuller make a big impact by playing the run this year. And I think Denzel will give you a lot more than Kyle Fuller even did. And so that's a big plus when you talk about a defense that wants to stop the run. All right. So that's the case for Denzel Ward. Go to the comment section. Let me know what you think about taking Denzel at number 8. Do you think Josh Jackson might be better for us? Or do you think that might be too high for Denzel Ward? Is corner our biggest need? Do we got something else you want to go get? Go to the comment section, comment. Let me know, share it around, thumbs up, subscribe, and remember, stay up and bear down.